I still remember the exact moment everything changed. It was a Tuesday morning, and I was standing in my kitchen in my favorite oversized sweater, frustrated beyond belief because our Wi-Fi had been down for 3 days. My husband was in Chicago on another one of his endless business trips, and I was drowning in deadlines I couldn't meet without internet. When the doorbell rang at exactly 9 a.m., I thought it was just another routine service call. I had no idea that the man standing on my doorstep would make me question everything I thought I knew about myself. If you're drawn to stories about those unexpected moments that change us forever, about the complexity of human connection and the emotions we're afraid to name, then you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe to Tales of Lust and hit that notification bell, because today's story is going to take you on a journey you won't forget. His name was David, and the first thing I noticed wasn't his looks, though I'd be lying if I said he wasn't attractive. It was his voice. Calm, reassuring, the kind of voice that makes you feel like everything's going to be okay. He apologized for being a few minutes early, asked if he should remove his work boots, and actually listened when I explained the Wi-Fi issues we'd been having. Most technicians rush through their work, treating you like an inconvenience. David was different. He asked thoughtful questions. How many devices do you typically have connected? Do you work from home often? What areas of the house need the strongest signal? Simple questions, but the way he asked them, it felt like he actually cared about solving my problem properly. As he worked, moving between rooms with his equipment, we fell into this easy conversation. He mentioned he'd been doing this job for 5 years, how he'd gotten into it after leaving the military. I found myself sharing more than I usually do with strangers, about my freelance writing, about how isolated I'd been feeling lately with my husband traveling so much. Must get lonely, he said simply, not looking up from the router he was examining. For words. That's all it took for something inside my chest to tighten. Because he was right. I was lonely. I'd been lonely for months, maybe longer, but I'd been so busy pretending everything was fine that I'd stopped acknowledging it, even to myself. That's when I started noticing things I shouldn't have been noticing. The way he explained technical concepts without talking down to me. How his eyes crinkled slightly when he smiled. The careful way he moved through my space, respectful but confident. I caught myself smoothing my hair when he wasn't looking, adjusting my sweater, wondering if I looked as tired as I felt. It was probably nothing, I kept telling myself. You're just grateful for adult conversation. But that wasn't entirely true, was it? When he called out from the living room, asking me to test the connection on my laptop, I felt this little flutter of anticipation. When had I started listening for the sound of his voice from the other room? I brought my laptop over to where he was working, and as he leaned over to show me something on the screen, I caught the faint scent of his cologne mixed with something distinctly masculine. Professional. Clean. Different from the heavy aftershave my husband favored. The space between us seemed to shrink, and for just a moment, I forgot to breathe. There, he said, his finger pointing to the screen, you should be getting full bars now. But I wasn't looking at the screen. I was looking at his hands. Strong, capable hands with long fingers and this small scar across his knuckles that made me wonder about his story. What was wrong with me? This was a service call. He was here to fix my internet, not to make my heart race like I was some teenager with a crush. Just as he was finishing up, the sky outside decided to open up. Rain started pelting against the windows with this intensity that made the whole house feel smaller, more intimate. The power flickered once, twice, and then the lights went out completely. Well, David said with a soft chuckle, that's not going to help our connection test. In the dim afternoon light filtering through rain-soaked windows, everything felt different. Charged. Like the storm outside had somehow gotten inside and was crackling between us. I fumbled around for candles, my hands shaking slightly, though I told myself it was just from the sudden darkness. When I lit the first one, the warm glow illuminated his face in a way that made my breath catch. He was watching me with this expression I couldn't quite read, something between concern and something else entirely. Are you okay? He asked quietly. Such a simple question, but the way he asked it, like he was really asking if I was okay with everything. The storm, the darkness, this strange energy that had settled between us, made me realize I wasn't okay. I hadn't been okay for a long time. I started, then stopped. What could I say? That I was married, but felt more alone than I ever had. That a stranger had made me feel more seen in 3 hours than my husband had in months. That I was standing in my own living room, lit by candlelight, wanting something I couldn't name. The power came back on suddenly, breaking whatever spell had settled over us. The familiar hum of electronics filling the silence that had grown too heavy, too loaded with unspoken possibilities. David cleared his throat, immediately shifting back into professional mode. Everything should be working perfectly now, he said, gathering his tools with efficient movements. But his voice was different now, slightly rougher, like he'd felt it too, that moment when the world had narrowed down to just us and the rain and the flickering candlelight. I walked him to the door, both of us careful to maintain proper distance now. Thank you, I said, and meant it for so much more than just the Wi-Fi repair. For everything. He paused at the threshold, rain still drumming against the porch roof. Take care of yourself, he said, and something in his tone made me think he understood exactly what kind of loneliness he was leaving behind. As I watched his van disappear down my street, I realized that some connections aren't meant to be pursued. They're meant to remind us of what we're missing, what we're capable of feeling, what we deserve. That afternoon taught me that it's possible to feel more alive in 3 hours with a stranger than I had in months in my own marriage. Some moments aren't meant to be repeated, just remembered. Was I wrong for feeling what I felt? Or is it simply human nature to crave genuine connection, even when it comes from the most unexpected places? Maybe the real question isn't whether what I felt was right or wrong, but what I was going to do with the realization that I deserved to feel seen, understood, valued. What do you think? When someone truly sees you, even briefly, does the context matter? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Tales of Lust for more stories about the beautiful complexity of human desire and connection.